What's going on, y'all? It is me, Jess, and I am back again with another video. So if you've been following me throughout my journey, you know that I have lost 200 pounds. And one of the reasons why I built this channel is to talk about some of the things that most people really don't talk about as it relates to weight loss, or things that you may have never thought about in your weight loss journey. With that being said, a lot of people tend to ask me, yo, Jess, like, what is the best way to lose weight? And I feel like there's so many different ways that you could skin a cat. There's so many different ways to lose weight, y'all. If your back is still big in 2026 and it's not due to something beyond your control and you want to change it, baby, it might just be you. Okay, because there's so many different ways that you can lose weight. And I'm not going to say that one way is better than the other, because with the various different methods, not everything works for everybody. And some people may need various different other routes to be able to lose weight, right? And I'm going to walk you through some of the various different ways that you can lose weight and talk about them briefly a little bit, right? And as always, I have my handy dandy iPad just so I make sure that I am staying on track and that I make all of the points that I am intending to make. First one being said, right? The first way that you can lose weight is through a natural weight loss. This is what everybody applauds, right? Quote unquote. This is the method that everybody feels like is the best way because you did it the natural way, right? Whatever that means. But pretty much it can entail having a calorie deficit, eat more protein, drinking more water, walking, strength training. And with the natural weight loss, it's pretty much calories in versus calories out. Natural weight loss also implies that you haven't had any surgery, you haven't taken any medications, or you haven't done anything, but you basically just did it through diet and exercise. Now, does this method work for some people? Absolutely. Does this work for everybody? Absolutely not. Right? There are so many different factors that go into weight and why people are the weight that they are. And if a natural weight loss was the key to everybody losing weight, we wouldn't have so many people out here with their backs still big. Okay? So that is one way that you can lose weight, right? The second way is taking diet pills. So I think diet pills have a negative connotation. If I could be transparent about my journey, experimenting with diet pills is something that I did try throughout my weight loss journey. And specifically, weight loss medications can be such as phentermine. I'm sure a lot of you have maybe heard of phentermine or Contrave. I've heard of Contrave. And to be honest with you all, I have tried phentermine. But it doesn't work for everybody. I have tried it throughout my journey. I didn't necessarily like the way that I felt when I was on it or when I did try it. So that kind of led to me getting off of it. And I will say there's pros and cons to taking diet pills, right? But there are diet medications out there to help people throughout their weight loss journeys. One of the key things with these particular diet pills is to reduce your appetite. It is usually for a short-term situation. It is not recommended that you be on Contrave or phentermine for the rest of your life, right? It can have a whole lot of implications with that. But I would say talk to your doctor if you're interested in losing weight, but you don't want to have surgery, but you don't want to try any other method. I would say trying a diet pill could be beneficial in a lot of different ways, right? I don't necessarily think it's a negative thing, but you know, if that's something you want to try, I mean, by all means, don't let anybody make you feel bad for wanting to try different ways to lose weight. If you tried it the natural way, baby, and that don't work for you, then there's so many different other ways that you can try. And I'm just being transparent about the ones that I have tried and the things that I have done. Now, did I see some success with taking the phentermine? For sure, I did. I'm trying to think. I might have lost maybe 15 to maybe 20 pounds, maybe. But like I said, I didn't quite like the way that I felt on it particularly, but there are people who take the medication just fine. I've never tried Contrave or anything like that, but I heard that's also a pretty popular one as well. Another way that you can lose weight is, and this one has been taking the world by storm, is GLP-1s. And I feel like GLP-1s get such a negative connotation, right? And I think a lot of people are upset because they secretly want to try GLP-1, but they either can't afford it. But there's so many different telehealth companies and so many different ways that you can get a GLP-1. Or they secretly want to try it, but a lot of times people have these negative connotations about people who want to try a GLP-1. And when I say a GLP-1, this can be like medications like Zepbound. I'm sure you heard of Wegovy, Mounjaro. Pretty much the goal of the GLP-1s is to help you reduce your hunger, your cravings. It helps you feel fuller longer. It can lead to a significant weight loss. So I have been seeing a lot of people switch over to GLP-1s instead of getting a weight loss surgery, or they might use them in conjunction with each other. And like the weight loss thing is so complex because you can overlap things, try different things, do things simultaneously. There's so many different ways, y'all. If you want to get this weight off your body, come talk to me, okay? Another thing is you still will need to learn healthy habits. And I have been hearing a lot of folks who may try a GLP-1, then they get off of the medication and then they gain the weight back. So there's a couple different things I'm going to say with this, right? And I'm no medical doctor. I just want to say this. But that can happen, weight gain, after you try GLP-1 and you get off of it. You could have gotten off of it prematurely, or you may need to gradually wean yourself off, or it might just be a lifetime medication that you may need to take to sustain your weight loss or keep the weight off, right? And also, GLP-1s are not just for weight loss. There's a lot of different reasons why you may need to take them. Some people take them for inflammation. It helps relieve your body inflammation. Some people take it to, I know some people with diabetes may take it to regulate, various different things in their bodies. And I will say this, a GLP-1 isn't necessarily a diabetic medication. And to also add on top of that, there's various different GLP-1s that you can take, right? So they have like different ones that I guess, and I am going to do a separate video about maybe these topics separately, but as it relates to the GLP-1s, like there's various different steps and stuff that you can take, or various different ones that you can take that target various different things, right? To add, as it relates to the GLP-1, these are things that you already have in your body, right? These things just elevate what's already in your body to help you get the weight off, right? I don't necessarily think there's anything wrong with taking the GLP-1. I don't. People act like it's a badge of honor to have lost weight naturally. And I'm not saying that it's not, but one of the reasons that I think keeps people stuck being big is the negative connotations that they have about these various different ways that you could lose weight. And they feel like you have to lose weight, quote unquote, naturally to be able to lose weight properly. And that's not necessarily the case too. And I'm going to say this, while these things can help you lose weight, y'all, they are just tools. You still have to put the work in. It just doesn't magically allow you to drop the weight. Could it? Yeah, but it's going to show up at some point, right? If you take the diet pills, you get up off of it, you're not eating right, you won't lose weight. Or if you're on the diet pill, you're not eating right, you won't lose no weight. You're on the GLP-1, you ain't eating right, you might not lose no weight. Or if you do lose the weight, you get up off of it, you blow back up, right? The next one I want to talk about is weight loss surgery. This is also a tool that people utilize to lose weight. And I do think some people actually need weight loss surgery. So it could entail a gastric sleeve, gastric bypass. Those two procedures are not synonymous. They are completely different. You also have I want to say the gastric bypass is like a Roux-en-Y. It can be life-changing for the right person. Surgery is a tool and it is not the easy way out. How many times do I have to keep telling you all? Just because someone has had weight loss surgery does not guarantee that they're going to lose weight from it. It is meant to be a tool, y'all. There are plenty of people who have weight loss surgery every day and don't lose anything, and or they stay the same size, and or they might lose weight temporarily and then gain the weight back, right? So that's another way that people can lose weight. Another way that people can lose weight is through meal replacement programs, right? So it could be protein shakes, structured meals, portion control, and this kind of can fall under the umbrella of like a natural kind of way. If you want to, I guess use like meal replacements and switch up the way you're eating so that you can lose weight. I have tried this way as well, right? Some people like to try intermittent fasting where they do like they fast 16 hours and then eat in an 8-hour window. Or I'm not necessarily pro intermittent fasting for weight loss per se, because I've tried that as well. But there's so many different ways, right? Some non-surgical procedures could be a gastric balloon, endoscopic sleeve procedures. And these surgeries or these non-surgical procedures could be for people who don't necessarily qualify for weight loss surgery. Another thing that I want to touch on briefly that I have seen as well is people utilizing body contouring procedures. This can be a arm lift, tummy tuck, thigh lift. These aren't necessarily weight loss procedures per se. However, they can like reshape your body, and or like if you have like 5 to 10 pounds of like extra fat or skin hanging around, if you get liposuction, it could take a little bit of 5 to 10 pounds off of your current weight, right? But I wouldn't use like body contouring procedures to weight loss. And I think one of the great things about all of these different methods that you can utilize to lose weight is that you can do one at a time, two at a time. You can overlap these things to reach your goals. And I think that is so cool. I want to emphasize this once again, right? The biggest misconception is that there's one way to lose weight and that there is a better way to lose weight. As somebody who has lost 200 pounds, who has tried everything under the sun, I don't condemn anyone for them wanting to try other various different ways to lose weight. In fact, good, you should. Because if the way that you have been trying is still leaving your back as wide as all outdoors, then baby, it's okay to try something else. You tried it naturally. Love, you may need to go get you a procedure and lay on somebody's table. You may need to go get your GLP-1. And then people like to talk about the negative things. Oh, you're going to mess your stomach up, or oh, you're going to, and I always say, make sure you consult with the doctor to make sure that you qualify for these things. But try it. Try it, y'all. One of the things that I do want to do on this page eventually is, and I'm kind of working on it a little bit, but for people who want to know different ways to lose weight but don't necessarily have a guide or may be scared to maneuver through certain ways, I want to create a resource for you, and or if I could be a resource for you if you have any questions or you want a how-to guide. Like I think I am going to set something up like that where like based on, and it's not me giving medical advice, but it's me saying based off of what you're telling me, this is what I think might be best for you. And like, these are the steps that you could do, right? So if you're interested in maybe getting a GLP-1, I could walk you through what you need to do that. If you're interested in weight loss surgery, I could say, hey, you need to do this. You need to check with your insurance. You need to do X, Y, and Z. So these are some things that eventually that I do want to get to a place on, right? I've learned that no matter what tool you use, whether it's natural, whether it's medication, whether it's surgery, you still have to have healthy habits at the end of the day, y'all. No matter what you boil it down to, you have to have healthy habits and consistency in place, because if not, this tool that you have is going to be a waste, right? Let's just say if you try to do the natural way, you might waste your money on buying all of these foods and different things. You might waste your money spending hundreds and thousands of dollars on GLP-1s. God forbid you get weight loss surgery and then you mess that up. And there are people who actually do, right? There are some people who may need to have weight loss surgery twice. But this is for people who are truly deep in the trenches. If this ain't terminology or things, if you ain't been on a journey, like this is going to sound foreign. This is going to sound like, what the heck? Like this is bananas, right? But for the people who get it, those who know, and it makes complete sense to them, right? You have to have the habits. And that's one of the things that I learned throughout my journey. No matter what I tried, it all boiled down to me and what I was doing. So I had to be consistent with what I ate, how I worked out. And like I said before, I still do what I need to do. Yes, I don't go as hard as I used to, and I'm a little bit more lax because I'm not trying to lose any more weight. In fact, I think I am trying to at least put on 10 pounds, right? However, there's just a certain way and a certain science that I have it down to ensure that like I'm staying on track myself. I'm going to end this video here because I do want to do separate videos where I talk about each one individually and give more information pertaining to those, and maybe some of the pros and the cons, or like what people may think about them, or the negative connotation when there's really nothing to be negative about. I do want to do that, right? But I want you all in the comments to maybe just, what are some weight loss methods that you are curious about? Let me know. And then, yeah, like I said, I'll be doing videos to kind of break those down in conjunction with my series. So you'll kind of see like how I talked about my journey, some of the things that I'm still going through throughout my journey. But then like people get curious about the ways that you could do certain things. They don't have the knowledge. Sometimes they're ignorant to it, right? And I want to be a source, or a resource, a tool for people who can say, you know what, I went on Justice page to figure out, okay, I want to do this. I want to try this. This is the first step that I need to do. With that being said, y'all, I'm done talking and yapping. Let me know if you have any questions. And once again, if you stay for the full video, I appreciate you. And be back for the next episode. Bye.